Good morning, everybody. My name's Ian Shepard, and I'm the owner of Right Start Newcomer Services. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Learn Canadian English live stream. So just before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge that Right Start Newcomer Services conducts business in Chibuktuk, which is how you say Halifax in the Mi'kmaq language. This city is part of the ancestral unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. That means that when settlers came, the Indigenous people did not surrender their territory and instead signed treaties with Europeans. As a business, we're committed to upholding these treaties as we continue to build relationships between settlers, newcomers, and Mi'kmaq people. So welcome, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Say hello in the comments section if you want to say hi. And of course, participate as usual. So answer questions, ask questions. Say whatever you want and ask about anything you want because we're all here to learn English together. Okay, so today's lesson is called Traveling by Plane. So because of coronavirus, we haven't been able to fly around the world very much lately. So hopefully with things getting back to normal, at least here in Canada, we'll be able to fly very soon. So I thought we would do a lesson about traveling by plane. Okay, so great. Let's see if anybody's here. Bay's here. Hi, Bay. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well, and I hope you had a good weekend. Okay, let's move on. So just give me 1 second to load up today's lesson. Okie dokie. All right, so today we've got some good stuff planned. We're going to do a little warm-up. So we're just going to chat a little bit about traveling by plane. I want to hear a little bit about what you guys like about traveling. Maybe you don't like traveling, and you can let me know that too. Then we're going to talk about some vocabulary. So we've got some flashcards, and we'll see if you know this vocabulary for traveling by plane. After that, we've got a little bit of grammar. So we're going to talk about comparing things using comparative adjectives. Then we're going to do a reading activity. So you guys are going to help me choose the right plane ticket for me. And then finally, we are going to do a little role play. I'm going to be the ticket agent, and you are going to do a little role play with me. So does that sound good? I hope so, because yeah, you don't really have much choice, I guess. Hello, Irene. How's it going? Nice to see you again, Irene. And thank you for watching from Russia. Very cool. Is anybody else out there? I see we have 4 or 5 viewers. Say hello, say hi, say something. And if you're watching the replay after, that's awesome. You can still comment, and I will get to those questions or comments in the YouTube or the Facebook or YouTube comment section. Okay, I hope that sounds good. Okay, Luis is from the Dominican. Hey, Luis from Dominican. That's actually a place where my wife and I visited quite a long time ago now, probably about 10 years ago. My wife and I flew down to the Dominican. We had a nice week-long vacation on the beach near Puerto Plata. So we love Dominican, and we can't wait to go back. But there are many places all around the world we would love to visit, but definitely we want to go back to the Dominican. Okay, so let's chat a little bit. So I want to know about you guys. First question is, do you like to fly? Why or why not? Second, where did you fly to last? Where will you go next? And what are some tips for flying? So maybe you know some people who haven't flown much. What ideas can you share with them to make their flight a lot better? Luis, yeah, really we went. Really, we would love to go back. Maybe next year. You know, we're hoping for some cheap vacation packages. I don't know. I'm thinking that, you know, everybody's been cooped up. We haven't been able to fly for over a year. I think everybody's going to want to travel in this next year. So I was hoping for cheap tickets and cheap packages, but I don't think so this year. But we need it, right? We've been stuck inside for over a year, and we need to get out of the house. So we'll look, maybe Dominican, maybe somewhere else, but definitely we want to get out of here. Not that Canada's a bad place, but of course, you know that it's good to try something new once in a while. Okay, so I want to hear your answers to these questions. So 1 again, do you like to fly? Why or why not? 2, where did you fly to last? 3, where will you go next? And 4, what are your tips for flying? So I see we have one answer from Bay. She says she doesn't like to fly, but my last flight, F-L-I-G-H-T, my last flight was to Argentina in 2008, a long time ago. Wow, that is a long time ago. So what's that, like 13 years? Okay, so that was a long time. So Bay doesn't like to fly. I don't really like to fly either. I don't like being stuck in that airplane. I feel a little claustrophobic. Claustrophobic, I don't know if you know that word. I'll write it in here. That's a good word to know. So maybe that's a new word, claustrophobic. Claustrophobic means that you don't like being in small spaces. And an airplane feels small because you can't go outside, you can't, I don't know, get some fresh air. So I feel a little claustrophobic. Plus the seats are so close together now. So you got people beside you, maybe that person's a bigger person and they're spilling over onto your side of the armrest. Plus there's not enough leg room now. They put the seats in so tight. So yeah, I feel a little claustrophobic. I don't hate it, but you know, it's not my favorite experience. But I think it's worth it to get to the place where you really want to go. Okay, great. So Irene has some comments here. So Irene says, thank you for the question. No problem. Questions are free. So everything is okay. How are you doing? I'm pretty good. I think, you know, we had a good weekend. The weather's been really good here. I got my first vaccine, so I'm waiting for my second vaccine. So I think life is good and life is getting better. Okay, great. So flight almost Bay. So F-L-I-G-H-T. So you had your T and your H backwards, but there you got it. F-L-I-G-H-T. And then you got it. So Irene says, I like fly. Let's say I like to fly. I like to fly. And why? Why do you like to fly, Irene? I know you like to travel. I know you like to go to different places, but why do you like to fly? And Luis says, I like to fly. My last flight. So same thing that Bay did. Fly is the verb. The noun is flight. F-L-I-G-H-T. Okay, so you got that, Luis. My last flight was to Aruba 3 years ago. Maybe I will fly in 2022. Some tips, I think, to wear comfortable clothes to be early in the airport. Okay, I love those tips. So wear comfortable clothes and arrive early so you're not running around and trying to find where you need to go, and it will lower your stress. So great tips, Luis. I hope you have a great trip in 2022. Okay, if anybody else wants to answer, that's great. I'll answer personally. So like I said, I don't really like to fly because I feel a little claustrophobic in those airplanes. Where did I fly to last? I guess it's been a couple years. So I remember I flew to New York City maybe I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. Michelle, if you can remember, if you're watching, I think it was 2, but possibly 3 years ago. Man, time flies, doesn't it? Okay, where will you go next? So like I said, my wife and I might go somewhere, maybe to Dominican, maybe some beachy, warm place. Because if you've lived in Canada for a while, you get pretty sick of Canadian winters. You know, it's dark a lot, it's cold, it's icy, it's snowy. So you want to go somewhere warm. So maybe next winter we might go someplace warm. And tips for flying. I think Luis covered some of the good ones. Wear comfortable clothes, arrive early, bring something, you know, something to read like a book, phone or iPad, something to watch movies. Headphones are a big one, and also earplugs, because if you want to sleep, if you have earplugs, it's a lot easier. Maybe a small pillow, maybe a blanket, depending on how long your flight is. And of course, snacks. Nowadays, they make you pay for everything. You have to pay for snacks, you have to pay for drinks, you have to pay for your luggage. That's crazy. So pack light, bring snacks, and don't spend too much checking in too much luggage. Okay, and Irene has a comment here. So I like to fly because taking a train is so bored. Let's say taking a train is so boring, B-O-R-I-N-G. But it makes you bored, right? So you feel bored, but the train is boring, B-O-R-I-N-G. I often travel to the Ukraine because it is my motherland, M-O-T-H-E-R-L-A-N-D. Okay, great answer, Irene. Just check that spelling, boring, and motherland. And I think Ukraine is spelled wrong too. But okay, great. Thank you for answering, everybody. Let's move on to the next activity. All right, this will be fun. So we're going to learn some vocabulary for traveling by plane. See if you know the words, write them down, check your spelling. We'll see who is the fastest to get these words. This time, we're going to use a program called ESL Library. So ESL Library is this great company. They make lesson plans and stuff for teachers and for students. So they have some really good flashcards on their website. So start off easy. What do you see? And write it in the comments section. Check your spelling. This is a good way to practice your spelling. So very easy. What is it? Anybody still there? So this is, it's not a trick question. It's just an airplane. Okay, so that's all I want you to do. Look at the picture, write in the vocabulary word in the comments section. Plane, okay, Luis got it. 1 point for Luis. Luis is first. Airplane, okay, Bay got it second. Okay, very good. So plane, airplane, sometimes we might call it a jet, J-E-T, but everybody knows airplane. Believe me, it will get a little bit harder as we go. Already it's harder. Okay, what is this? So the place where you pick up your suitcase. Okay, tricky word. Do we know this one? Actually, it's 2 words. First word starts with B. Second word starts with C. Any guesses? So while you're answering this, I'll just say that, it is a good idea if you're learning English to keep like a vocabulary notebook or journal that you write new words in, and then refer back to those words. So if you really want to learn English, don't just write down a word once. You have to actually see, write, read, use this word probably at least 10, maybe 20 times before this word goes into your brain. So don't just write it once, write it down, study it, review it, use it in sentences, because that way that will cement that word into your brain. Okay, so let's say we really want to learn this vocabulary. I don't see anybody got this one. So this is a tricky one. So this is what we would call like a baggage claim. So your baggage is your luggage, your suitcases, and Luis, you got it, right? So bag claim or baggage claim, it's pretty much the same thing, right? So this is where you claim or you get or you take your luggage after the flight is over. Okay, so that's a good word, a good term, especially if you're traveling to an English-speaking country and you don't know the right word for that. Okay, bag claim or baggage claim. Let's move on. And next word. So, looks like a ticket. It's not a ticket. This is what you get after you go to the desk, the check-in desk, and they will assign you this, and it tells you which seat you're in, which flight, yada, yada, yada. So, what is this called? 2 words. First word is be. Second word is P. So this will get you on the plane. What's the Jeopardy music? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay, Irene says ticket. Good guess. So tickets now you can print out at home, and then you got your ticket. You take it to the counter or the machine, and then they print out this thing that actually gets you on the plane. So I think ticket comes up later, Irene. This one is actually called a boarding pass. Okay, so the boarding pass comes after the ticket. You need this actual boarding pass to get onto the plane. Luis says, ticket passenger, it's a boarding pass. So board to board means to go onto the plane. So this pass allows you to actually enter into the plane. So this is your boarding pass. New word, you guys. Write that down. Study it. Stay up all night studying it if you want. But that's a good word to know if you are going to be traveling in an English-speaking place. Because they'll say, may I see your boarding pass? And you need to know what that is so you're able to give it to them, right? Super duper. Let's move on. Okay, so what is this part of the airport? What is this area called? So the place maybe where you get your boarding pass, where you check in your luggage, where maybe you show your passport or ID. What is this area of the airport called? Don't be shy. I know it's Monday. You might be scared about making a mistake. That's how we learn, right? We make mistakes, somebody corrects us, or we learn the right way, and now we're better at English. So don't be shy. What do you think this area is called? 3 more seconds. Can't wait all day. I'm impatient. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is your check-in. Okay, so this is the check-in area. Again, it's where you check in your luggage, you get your boarding pass, they check your documents to make sure that you actually have a ticket for the flight. And Irene is exactly right. So this is the check-in for flights. That is exactly right. So I was looking for check-in. Okay, great. There's a few more. Okay. This is a little bit different. So this is after arriving in a country, maybe in the new place. You might have to talk to some people there. So maybe they'll ask you some questions. I actually forget which one this is. It's one of 2. So either starts with C or starts with I. Okay, immigration. Okay, good. I think it is immigration, actually. So, oh, customs. Shit. Oh, watch your language. So, Same sort of thing. Customs is for bringing things into the country, like what's in your suitcase? Are you bringing any cigarettes, drugs, anything bad? Immigration is for people who are landing in a country to immigrate there. So sorry, I got them a little mixed up. You were on the right track, Luis, except this is customs instead of immigration. But same idea, they're just asking you some different questions. Okay, super, let's go. Oh, this is a store inside the airport. So there's really cool stores where you don't have to pay some taxes on some items. And usually they sell perfume, alcohol, bags like purses, sometimes expensive things, maybe jewelry, that type of thing. So these are special shops. Irene, you're right. I think you're talking about the last one. And yes, it was customs. So that was a customs desk or customs officer asking questions about what you're bringing into the country. Okay, great. Sometimes they ask you at customs, how long are you going to be here? What's your plan? What are you doing? Because they're trying to stop people from bringing drugs and doing illegal things in the country. Okay, Bay got it. Very good, Bay. So this is a duty-free or duty-free shop. Sometimes we just call it a duty-free. So a duty is a special tax that you might have to pay if you bring something from another country. But once you're already there, you can go to the duty-free shop. Dirty-free, so close. Not dirty-free, it is duty, D-U-T-Y, duty-free shop. Okay, I don't usually shop at duty-free shops. Sometimes in the States, if you go to the US is a lot cheaper than Canada for some things, especially alcohol. So you can go to the duty-free store on your way back to Canada, get alcohol for about half the price as in Canada, which is kind of crazy. So people do that a lot when they're traveling to the US. They stop at the duty-free, pick up alcohol, cigarettes, candy, whatever. And yeah, you can save a lot of money shopping at the duty-free. Very good, Irene. You got it. Duty-free. Okay, great. There's just a few more. Okay, I think we know what this one is. This is a document that you need to travel outside of the country and get into other countries. Starts with P. Passport. Okay, very good, Bay. So great, Bay got it. It is, of course, a passport. Another tip, so if you're flying, make sure that your passport doesn't expire within 6 months of your return date. So if you're coming to Canada and you only have 4 or 5 months left on your passport, they might not allow you onto the plane because you need at least 6 months to, a window where you can still travel on that passport. So great job, Bay, you got it. Irene, you got it too. Luis, you got it too. Awesome. You guys are amazing students. Oh. I don't even know this one. I put it in, but I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's immigration. Yeah, okay, it's immigration. So they're stamping their passport if they are allowed to immigrate to a country. Anyway, we'll skip that one. We already talked about that. Okay, this is a good one. Here, let me get rid of your comment there, Luis. So this is after you check in, after you go through maybe security screening, and then you're ready to actually get onto your plane. So what would we call this area right before you get onto your plane? They're going to ask you for your boarding pass. They're going to call you by rows and say, okay, rows 30 to 50 go first, rows 30 to 15 go next, and then the last rows. So what is it? What would we call this? Wow, we've got 8 viewers. Awesome. becoming super popular. Can't even believe it. Okay, anybody know? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's interesting. Very cool. So Irene says in Russia, we have 2 passports. One is for domestic use. The second is for trips abroad. Oh, that's pretty cool. You know, here in Canada, I guess it's kind of the same. You know, we only have 1 passport, but for domestic flights within Canada, I'm not sure if you need a passport. I don't think you need a passport to travel within Canada. You do need ID. So government ID cards for most people is a driver's license, but you can also get like a provincial ID card, which would work for flights to other cities within Canada. But, you know, exactly like you guys, if you leave Canada, you need to have a passport. Okay, and then Irene says visa. Okay, great. So yeah, maybe you just need a visa within Canada or within Russia, and then outside you might need a passport. Okay, so let's go over this word. It's a gate, right? Some people call it boarding gate or just gate. They'll tell you which gate you need to go to when you get your boarding pass. And then you need to arrive at the gate, you know, half an hour before your flight. Okay, awesome. Just a couple more. Oh, what's this guy all about? I think I mentioned him a couple minutes ago. What area of the airport is this? Starts with S. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Security. Security or security screening, they might say. So security section is where they check your bags. What are they looking for? So why do they put your bags through this machine, the X-ray machine, and why do they make you walk through this detector, metal detector? What are they looking for? They want to look at your underwear or your toothbrush. What are they checking you for in security? You know, maybe it's mainly for illegal things. So drugs, which are not allowed on airplanes, weapons, so knives, guns, bombs. Luis, exactly. So they're looking for illegal things, things that are not permitted on a plane. Even, you know, some things like alcohol, cigarettes, those things might not be allowed on a plane. Or things that are not permitted. Exactly. So maybe not illegal, like a knife is not necessarily illegal, but if you take it on a plane, it is not permitted. Okay, great job, you guys. And I think that's pretty much it. 2 more. Easy. What do we call this one? This is called a... Actually, I do know. Baggage. Okay, good, Luis. You're on fire. Baggage. Yes, you can call it a bag. You can call it baggage. You can call it a success. Maybe you mean suitcase. Let's assume you meant suitcase. So yeah, you can call it suitcase, bag, luggage, baggage. There's a whole bunch of words we can use. The small ones you can call a carry-on. So carry-on means you just take it with yourself onto the airplane. You don't need to check it. Okay, great. And last one. This, I think, is your ticket. So we already said ticket. This is your airplane ticket. Okay, good. So I hope you learned some new words. Very quickly, let's review those that we covered. So airplane, we know that one. Baggage claim, where you pick up your bag or baggage. Boarding pass. So this is the card that you need to actually get on the airplane when you go to the gate. This is your check-in. So when you show them your ticket, you go to check-in and check in your luggage. This is customs. So once you arrive, you have to talk to a customs officer and answer some questions. This is your duty-free shop. So if you like alcohol or cigarettes, you can save some money. Or perfume, but not a lot of people wear perfume a lot these days because it's not allowed in a lot of places in Canada. You got your passport, don't leave home without it. You might have to go to an immigration officer and talk about your immigration status. You've got your gate here, so this is where you arrive right before you get on your flight. This is your security, so you go through this after your check-in. This is your bag or suitcase. And then finally, you've got your ticket. Okay, so I hope that was useful. I hope you learned a few words. Let's go back to our presentation because we have a few other things to cover today. Awesome. So we're all done this. We talked about vocabulary. Let's move on to a little bit of grammar. So for grammar this week, today we're going to look at comparatives. So comparative adjectives compare two things, two people, two places, that type of thing. So we use comparative adjectives to show change or make comparisons. We use than to compare two things or two people or two places. So for example, this flight is cheaper than the other one. So the comparative adjective is cheaper. After cheaper, we say than. So cheaper than the other one. Depending on the adjective, it will take different forms. So either we put er at the end, or we say more and then the adjective. So usually for short words, one, sometimes two syllables or two parts of the word, we put er. For example, early is two syllables, but to make the comparative adjective, we just put er, earlier. Got it? Cheap, we say cheaper. Fast, faster. With longer adjectives, usually adjectives that have two or more syllables, we will say more. So affordable. Affordable, how many syllables? Affordable, 4. Affordable. That's a longer word. So we have to say more affordable. Okay? Convenient. Convenient, 3 syllables. To make the comparison, the comparative adjective, we say more convenient. And the last one, dangerous, 3 syllables. And to make the comparative, we say more dangerous. So this is something that we use all the time, right? We use comparatives, comparative adjectives to compare two things, two people, two places a lot. So we're going over this now because we're going to practice it in a moment. You guys are going to help me choose between two flights. So imagine that I am booking a ticket. I want you guys to tell me which one you would choose and also to compare them. So which is more expensive? Which is more convenient? Which is faster? Okay, so let's move on to that activity right now. So imagine I'm booking a ticket from Halifax, which is where I live, to Toronto, which is the biggest city in Canada. 2 options. I just looked these up this morning, so these are accurate. So the first option, I know it's a little bit hard to read there. So we've got the flight is through Air Canada. We've got the time, 7:15 in the morning from Halifax. It's a 2-hour and 24-minute flight to Toronto, and I will arrive at 8:39. There is a time change, so we gain an hour when we go to Toronto. Coming home, there's the flight, so 5:15, and we return. Why is that there? Okay, so when we return, we come back 5:10 from Toronto to Halifax, and we arrive at 6:15 p.m. So here is the cost, $468.87. And if we want a flexible ticket, I guess that means we can change it. It's $543. Okay, so that is option one. So think a little bit about the price, the times. Is this a good option? Option number two. So same day, but we fly out later at night. We fly at 9:25, and we arrive at 10:45. Flight time is about the same. So it's about 2 hours and 20 minutes, but the time is very late. And actually, this is not the exact place I want to fly to. So it's a little bit outside of Toronto. So we're flying to Kitchener, which maybe is 1 hour away from downtown Toronto. Then returning, come back 8 o'clock and return at 11 o'clock. So the price is better. So the price is $308 compared to $468. But there's some bad things. So the time is not so good, and it doesn't arrive right in the place where I want to be. So write a few sentences. Which one is better? So is option one better, and why? So we'll go back to option one. There's the price, there's the time, there's the place. Or option two. So practice using comparative. So which is cheaper, which is better, which is more convenient, to help me decide which flight to take, okay? So I'll give you a minute, make a couple sentences, and then we'll choose which flight is best. Go back, this is option one. I might just maximize it a little bit more so you can see. And then option two. So which one should I buy? Option one. And why? Or option two? Okay, I'm coming back. So who can write a sentence? Which one is cheaper? Which one is more convenient? Oh, Irene says, I hate writing fast because of the devil. Okay, the devil makes you not like writing fast. Yeah, I know that writing fast, you make mistakes. Yeah, we all have that problem, I think. Okay, so Irene, great. Option two is cheaper than option one. So that's a big thing. If I want to, be careful with my money, I might choose option two because it is a cheaper option. Okay, great. And Louise has an answer too. For me, option two is more convenient because it is cheaper than option one. Very good. Let's just say because it is cheaper than option one. So yeah, I think those are two different things. So one is cheaper. Cheaper is great. And another is more convenient. So convenient means it's easier, right? It's easier for me to do that flight. So I totally agree with you, Luis. Option 2 is cheaper, and that's great. But, you know, option 1 is a more convenient time than option 2. So I agree with Irene, you know. Do I really want to fly at 9:30 at night and arrive, you know, almost 11 o'clock by the time you pick up your bags? It will be after 11 o'clock in a city. And then I have to travel more to get to Toronto. I probably have to take a train or bus or taxi another hour to get to where I need to go. So is it more convenient? I think option 1 is probably more convenient. The time is more convenient. The place is exactly where I want to go. And the price isn't a whole lot more. You know, it's $468 Canadian versus 308. So I'm paying 160 more, but the time is better. I also get to spend more time in Toronto, I think, because I have that whole day. I'm arriving at 8:30 in the morning. Now I can sightsee or visit my family or visit friends or whatever all that day. So I think option 1 is more convenient. Second option is less convenient, but it's cheaper. So yeah, I don't know if we're going to come to a consensus here. And Irene says, if you need to make same job or travel. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you mean, Irene, but I think it goes back to your last comment. Option 1 is more convenient if you need to make same job or travel. Anyway, I thought this would be a good activity to practice reading. Like if you're booking your tickets online, getting some information from that, and also being able to compare. So when you travel by plane, you have to make a lot of choices, right? You have to choose airline, you have to choose tickets, you have to choose time, you have to choose seats, and there's always comparisons. So which is better, which is faster, which is more convenient, which is more affordable? There's all these questions that you need to ask yourself. And nowadays, you know, we can go to a travel agent, but most people prefer to book online. So there's not really anybody you can even ask. Okay, great. Let's move on to our final activity today. I see our time is running low. Let's do a little role play. So imagine that you bought your ticket. It's the day of your flight, so you're in the airport. You are the passenger checking in to your flight. So now we're at the check-in booth. I'm going to be the check-in agent, and you will be the passenger. So I'll say what I say, and you respond to what I say with how you would answer that. So again, just type it in the comments section. Irene has another comment. So option 1 is more convenient, I think. So I agree with you, Irene, and I think I will go with option 1. It's a bit more expensive, but the time is better and it actually gets me where I need to go. So thank you for your comments, Irene. Thank you, everybody, for helping me choose the right ticket. So let's move on. You guys are passengers. I'm the check-in agent. And I would say this. So you arrive at my booth, my desk, and I say, good afternoon. Where are you flying to? And how would you respond to that? So you can write your answer. I'll write it down so we have something to remember. So good afternoon. Where are you flying to? Of course, it would be faster in real life. Yeah, so we have an answer here, Luis. That's great. Good afternoon. I'd like to fly to St. John, Canada. Okay. So great answer. St. John, John. So St. John is a city in New Brunswick, which is pretty close to Halifax. So perfect answer, Luis. So Good afternoon. I'd like to fly to St. John, Canada. Perfect answer. And good afternoon. I'm flying to Los Angeles. Great. Remember that, there are, especially in Canada, we have similar place names as in other places around the world. So, for example, here in Nova Scotia, we have a city called Sydney. But as you know, there's already Sydney, Australia. So, happens pretty often, more often than you would think, that somebody buys a ticket to Sydney, they think they're going to Sydney, Australia, they travel all the way, and then they arrive in Sydney, Nova Scotia, and they say, why is it so cold? Why is there snow everywhere? Why is it so icy? Where's the beach, right? Because they thought they were going to Sydney, Australia, and then they are very surprised when they get to Sydney, Nova Scotia. So make sure you say the country and maybe even the province to avoid that confusion, right? So make sure you say if there are other places with that name. Los Angeles, I think there's only one major Los Angeles in the world. So I think you're okay, Irene. Very good. Let's move on. May I have your tickets, please? Do we? Yeah. Okay. May I have your tickets, please? What would you say to that? And Irene, good. You said LA in the US. Yes. Very good. May I have your tickets, please? What do you say when you give somebody something? May I have your tickets, please? Okay, very good, Louise. So if it's one ticket, you can say, sure, here, it's. Let's say, instead of it's, let's just say, here it is. So we can't actually use the short form here, Louise. So instead of here it's, I know often we use it's instead of it is, but in this case we have to say here it is. I don't really know why. It sounds kind of funny to say here it's. Let's say here it is. So here it is. If you're traveling with two people, say you're traveling you and your wife or your husband or your kid, here you can say, here they are. Great. And Irene says, yes, of course. That's a great answer too. So yes, of course, here it is, here they are, here you go. We also say that, here you go. So any of those things, when somebody asks for something, you give it to them, you can say one of these things. Here you are, here you go, no problem, here it is. Okay, moving on. Next one. How many people are traveling with you? So, how many people are traveling? So, you can answer the short way and just say the number. So, 2, 3, 4. Or you could answer a little bit longer. Luis, so just one. So does that mean just yourself or just one other person? So it's a little confusing. So just say, there's a few ways to say if it's just me. So you could just say, oh, it's just me, or I'm alone, or I'm by myself. So you could say one of these. Oh, it's just me, I'm alone, I'm traveling alone, or you could say I'm by myself. Okay. If you're traveling with others, then we'll say that. So there are 3 of us. So there are 3 of us, there are 5 of us, there are 10 of us. Yeah, so how many people are traveling? Are you by yourself or are you traveling with other people? Okay, great job, Luis. Do you have your passports? I hope so. So this is easy. Do you have your passports? It's a yes/no question. So yes, I do, or no, I don't. If you don't, then too bad. Maybe you can't get on the flight. Louis says yes, of course. And Irene says yes. Okay, great. So yes or no, that's an easy one. Let's move on to the next. Okay, would you like a window or aisle seat? Would you like a window or aisle seat? So a window seat, of course, is next to the window on the plane. An aisle seat is in the middle. So you're right next to the row. Both are good for different ways. Window seats are good because you get to look outside. You only have a person on one side of you. Aisle seats are also good if you need to go to the bathroom a lot, right? It's easier to get by. You can get out. It's those middle seats. Middle seats are the worst. So arrive early, book your seat early so you can get a window or an aisle seat and you're not stuck in the middle. So Irene, I'd like a window seat, please. Cool, I love window seats too. I prefer window seats to aisle seats because I like to have a view and see what's going on outside. Plus, if there's a fire in the engine, I want to be the first person to see that. So I can make a plan for escaping. Okay, great. Thank you, Irene. That is awesome. We've got a few more slides and then we're going to call it a day. So do you need any assistance boarding? Sometimes they ask this. If you need special help, maybe you don't walk very well, maybe you have a wheelchair, maybe a child or something needs extra help or attention. Do you need any assistance boarding? Oh, Louis, sorry, I missed your answer. I'd like an aisle seat, please. Okay. Luis, you and I would travel well together. I get the window seat, you get the aisle seat, and we'd have a good time. Okay, Luis says, no, I don't, thanks. And Irene also says, no, thanks. Very good. You're very polite. You said thank you. So if you do, just say so then. If you don't, that's great. Are you checking any bags? Okay, so checking bags means you want to put these bags maybe in the luggage section of the airplane. So there's a carry-on. You can carry on, I think, usually 1, maybe 2 small bags. And then you have to check the larger items. So are you checking any bags? I guess these answers could apply. No thanks, that would work. What about if we want to answer a little bit longer? Are you checking any bags? Yes or no? So let's say yes. Yes, I am. Again, we can't say yes, I'm. We have to say it a little bit longer way. Yes, I am. I have 3 bags. And nowadays you have to pay extra. It's crazy. You're not allowed to check any bags. You have to pay for all of your bags. So that would be pretty expensive. Great. So Irene says no thanks. And Louis says no thanks. So no thanks. That's fine. Or you could say no, I'm not. So in this case, we can use the I'm for negatives. So no, I'm not is okay. Or no, I am not is also okay. Cool, cool, cool. Almost finished. Here are your boarding passes. So you've got through the check-in. You're near the end, and they say, here are your boarding passes. Hand them to you, and you say, Easy, just say, thank you, good, Irene. Perfect, that works. And finally, they say, please arrive at your gate 1 hour before boarding. And looks like we're pretty much finished. Again, you might say, thank you, have a nice day. Luis, that's great. Very polite. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Perfect. Okay, awesome job. I think that's pretty much it for our conversation. Okay, we covered a lot today. So it was a great lesson. We talked about traveling by plane. We learned some vocabulary for traveling by plane. We looked at some grammar. So we practiced comparing two tickets a little bit. You guys helped me choose the right option. So I think I'm going to go with option 1. It was a bit more expensive, but it was much more convenient for me. Then finally, we practiced checking in for the flight. So we role played a little bit. You guys answered my questions and you were able to check in for your flight. So that was awesome. You guys did an amazing job. I hope you learned a little bit. And if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can check out our website. So our website is www.rightstartcanada.ca. Send me an email if you want to say hi, info@rightstartcanada.ca. Thank you guys so much. You're such great students. I really enjoy these lessons. You're welcome, Irene. And we will have another lesson on Thursday morning. So should be a good one on Thursday. I think we're going to talk about workplace culture in Canada. So it should be a good one. And that's it for today. So see you later. Bye, everybody. Thank you.